it dawned on me that he was of the generation, with the famous Greatest Generation.
Right.
But
All right.
the journalists had a big role to play in that.
They did.
They were the people that gave gave the information to the average citizen. They were the funnel through what
Yes.
all that went, and
Yes.
how they covered things and what they did was extremely important in how policies were developed, enacted, and a whole ream of things.
Yes.
So I think we missed that generation
We
of
do.
journalists.
He probably knew Edward R. Murrow, but with
Uh,
McCarthy, there were several things. Honestly, it was the Senate hearings, the Army McCarthy hearings, where a lawyer um, said in just dismay, watching McCarthy character assassinate his young junior staffer. Have you no sense of decency, sir?
yeah,
That
yeah. Oh,
that outcry resounded through, because we hadn't really seen televised Senate hearings at that point.
hmm
They were the first ones. The next
hmm
ones, of course, had the huge ramifications, or the Watergate hearings.
yeah,
But Murrow, what he did that was so amazing was he took McCarthy on, but what he did is he found an individual person who represented the kind of persecution and suspicion
yeah.
and unjust kind of labeling of people as being a
hmm
security risk.
yeah.
A guy named Milo Radulovich,
hmm
rather than trying to talk about McCarthy in general, what he did,
Yeah, I didn't know this, but yeah, that's very, yeah.
well, what he
Uh,
did is he put a beating heart on that huge
exactly.
issue, right?
hmm
And
hmm
people really responded to it. It was
Yeah.
see it now, news per hour that he was doing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Milo
Yeah.
Radulovich was just an Air Force lieutenant, active during World War II, and then a 10-year reservist who was drummed out of the Air Force because of his father, who was a Serbian immigrant, reading Serbian newspapers, and his sister being a self-professed, openly progressive, political
hmm
progressive. They
hmm
were
hmm
therefore radicals. And
hmm
because they were related to him, unless he denounced them,
Yes.
he was going to get a dishonorable discharge.
hmm
And they
hmm
had the supposed information about him in a sealed envelope that they wouldn't show him or his attorney. Again,
Yeah.
sound familiar. And,
Yeah.
Murrah heard the story from a local reporter source, because I
Uh-huh.
forget where
Uh-huh.
Radulovich was, but he was in the Midwest
I
someplace.
didn't know. This is interesting. I didn't know. Yeah. I
Yeah.
have to read
And
that book of yours.
yeah, I hope you will. And actually, I'll tell people who are listening too, there's a really wonderful um, George Clooney movie, of course, but it's
Mhm.
Good Night, Good Luck,
Oh
um,
yeah.
which
I
is
have
a
not, I
sign-off.
know it, but haven't seen it. Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
revolves around the Milo
Oh,
Radulovich
okay.
case, so you can learn about it that way. But
Okay.
it was one of those things
Mhm.
that that the hysteria that had grown, that if you listened to Shostakovich, or had a friend that you shared recipes with who was from East
Mhm.
Europe someplace,
Yeah.
you might be vulnerable to being recruited by commies.
Mhm.
That's how
Yeah.
scared
Yeah.
everybody had become.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Oh
that's how
yeah.
this man was
Mhm.
undone. And that particular story
Mhm.
really resonated with
Mhm.
Americans. So
Mhm.
it
Yeah.
was things, the media,
Mhm.
while they might have created
Yeah.
McCarthy,
No.
bolstered him,
Yeah. Sure.
they began to unravel through stories like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
hoping,
Bringing it down to a
yes,
human level, personal story. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
human interest stories, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.